Okay, so a translation of a trigonometric graph. So we're going to look at the key concept. So we've got y is a sine b, and this is going to be the angle minus, or theta minus h plus k. So if we change this, so this a is going to be a is the amplitude, and if we change, so b is the period that we have, and h, this is the phase shift. And then we have k. So k, we will change, so, and k is the vertical shift. So the phase shift is left and right, and the vertical shift would be up and down. So let's have a look how we can calculate these. So the example, state the amplitude, the period, and the phase shift for y is equal to sine theta minus 90. So first of all, the amplitude, so this is 1, because it's 1 sine. The period, this is 360 divided by b, and here we have 1, so the period is 360 degrees. And the phase shift, this is minus 90, so it goes in the opposite direction, so it's going to be positive, so it's going to go to the right. So it's going to go, it's going to have a phase shift right to the right by 90 degrees. Okay, so let's look at this question. This is guided practice. State the amplitude, period and phase shift for y is 2 cosine theta plus 45. So first of all, the amplitude. So if we look here, we can see that it's been stretched vertically. So the amplitude is 2. And to find the period, we need to do 360 divided by b. And b is 1. So 360 divided by 1. So our period is 360 degrees. And then our phase shift is plus, is 45. So it's going to be left. It's moved to the left by 45 degrees. Okay, so we're going to look at the vertical shift. So this is represented by k. And if we had an example, just to show, so we have y equals sine theta plus 4. So the plus 4, so we're going to have a vertical shift. So this is going to go 4 units. So by 4 units. And this is going to go up towards the positive y. If we have another example, which was tan theta minus 3. So this time, this would be a vertical shift by 3 units down towards the minus y. So we'll have a look at this question. So it says y is equal to a half cosine theta minus 2. Now, at the moment, we have b as 1. So that doesn't change anything. So we'll have a look at working out the amplitude. We know is a half. The period, this is 360 divided by 1. So this is 360 degrees. And then we have a minus 2. So the minus 2, this is going to tell us that we have a vertical shift by 2 units down. Okay, so this question, state the amplitude, period, vertical shift for y equals tan theta plus 3. So the amplitude, okay, we have a 1 here, so the amplitude is 1. The period, I said b, we have a 1, so that's 360 divided by 1, so it's 360 degrees. And then we have a vertical shift. So the vertical shift, we look at plus 3. So this is going to be 3 units up. Okay, so we're going to look at our graph transformations, and we need to state the amplitude, the period, and the phase shift and vertical shift for y equals 3 sine 2/3 theta minus pi plus 4. So this graph is going to be slightly different because if the period is not 1, this will change how we work out the phase shift. So first of all, the amplitude, let's make this pen smaller. So the amplitude is going to be 3. And the period, okay, is going to be, we're working in, so we can say 360 divided by 2/3, which will be 360 times 3 divided by 2, which is 540 degrees. Okay, if we were to work out the period in pi, so we'd say 2 pi divided by 2/3. So this is going to be 3 over 2 times 2 pi, which is 6 pi over 2, which is 3 pi. Okay, so we've got the amplitude is 3, we've got the period is 540 or 3 pi, and the vertical shift, so the vertical shift, this is h, so we know it's the opposite, so this is going to be pi, so it's going to shift pi or 90 degrees to the right. And then we have our vertical shift. That was the phase shift. Like that. Why will not? Okay, right. Sorry, that should be phase shift. Is going to be pi to the right. Okay, or is 90 degrees to the right. And then our vertical shift, which is k, is going to be 4 units up. Now to graph, we need to find the midline. So the midline is going to be the difference on the amplitude. So we've got 3 units up and 3 units down from the +4. So we have to do 4 plus 3. So it's going to be at 7. So this is going to be the maximum for our graph. And then we have to do 4 minus 3, which is 1. So this is going to be the minimum of our graph. So we need to draw the graph. Okay, so if you look at this graph here, we can see the blue is the original sine graph, and our graph of 3 sine has been stretched by 3, but it's got a vertical shift of 4. So our graph is here at 1, and the top of our graph here is at 7. So we've got 7 and we've got 1. And the graph has actually shifted over